On episode 377 of Nintendo SwitchCraft, I've returned from vacation. Nintendo still doesn't get it. EA gives us a foolish response and a classic returns. Those stories and more on this episode of Nintendo SwitchCraft. Here we go.
This is Jenny from New South Wales, and you're listening to Nintendo SwitchCraft.
Hey everybody, I am back from vacation. I just got back from 4 days in New York City, and SwitchCraft is brought to you live. Now it's going to be live again. That's right, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. This week on the Monday and Wednesday episodes, I posted from my phone, and that's why it didn't sound so hot, but we are back. It's time to talk Nintendo stuff. If you want to tune into the live shows when they happen, you can tune in over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. This episode of SwitchCraft is made possible by patrons like Abigail13. Get SwitchCraft and my other content ad-free for as little as $1 over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. And if you want to leave a voicemail like you heard at the beginning of the show, that's easy to do as well. Go to runjumpstomp.com/voicemail from any device, and I may even play it on the show. Two things before we get started. First off, I want to thank everybody who told me that they nominated Nintendo SwitchCraft for the Podcast Awards. Nominations are now closed, so if you haven't had a chance to, maybe next year, okay? And I think we'll find out on the 10th if I was able to get in or not. I want to thank the following people for the 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. That'd be TQ McGuire in the U.S., Canucker Craig, Barry 1383, and Unprotected Egg Roll from Canada. Thank you guys very much for reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate the what you guys said. I read every single review, not just the 5-star ones, but I always thank the people who leave the 5-star ones. Real quick before we get out of here, or before we get started, Dragon Con. I'm going to be at Dragon Con at the end of this month. Oh my gosh, it's August, for crying out loud. It snuck up on me. I'll be there from the 30th to the 2nd, and I will be on some panels. So if you want to know where you can see me when I'm at Dragon Con on Saturday, Friday I will be getting there late, so I probably won't. I wouldn't even really count Friday. But on Saturday, I will be on 3 panels. The first panel is called Video Didn't Kill the Radio Star, Tips for Doing an Audio Podcast on Video. That is at 2:30 p.m. in the Galleria 6 in the Hilton. The next one is same day, 4 p.m. in the same location. That would be Monetization in Digital Media. And then I will be doing one in the Westin Hotel at Augusta EH. I don't even know what that means. I'll find out when I get there, I suppose. But that's Saturday at 5:30 p.m. And that is Your Memories Are in Another Castle, The Nintendo Legacy. On Sunday, I will be on a panel called Twitch 102. The gaming track has 101. I'm on the digital media track. And that is going to be Sunday at 11:30 a.m. That'll be back at the Galleria 6 in Hilton. And if you want to know more about these things, go to runjumpstomp.com/DragonCon to find out where and when these things are going to be, so you don't have to remember it all from this. Again, that's runjumpstomp.com/DragonCon for more information about my stuff at DragonCon. And if you happen to see me while you're there, please come over and say hi. It would be fantastic to meet you. All right, let's get started with some Nintendo news, and there seems to be a lot.
Nintendo has the most video game hits. Hogan's Alley, The Legend of Zelda, and more like Metroid, Rad Racer, and you can play them only on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
All right, we are back. Let's talk about Smash. All right, I talked about it on the podcast while I was away. How the hero is in and tournament mode is in, and I was very excited that tournament mode was in because I thought, hey, here's what I can do. I can set up a tournament with everybody in the Nerd Nest, runjumpstomp.com/Discord. I can set up a tournament with all of the community members in the Nerd Nest and I can stream the tournament on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. But apparently I can't do that because Nintendo, they just don't get it. They don't seem to understand that people want to play with their friends. And the tournament mode in Smash Brothers, I loaded it up last night to find out. Oh my gosh, I'm so irritated by this. I loaded it up last night, and sure enough, nope, you can't play with your friends. You can only play with randoms. And not only that, but you can't even pick your own rule sets because they pick the rules for you, and they will change the rules whenever, I don't know, probably like once a week or something. This is so absolutely lame, and I've lost all interest in tournament mode on online because I can't play with my friends. I don't care if I beat some random person in a tournament online. How is that different than quick play? It doesn't matter to me. Oh, wow, I can get like a crown at the end or something. It's so lame. Nintendo, you've got to understand that what we want is to be able to play this with our friends, and we want to be able to set our own rules. Because here's something else, is they definitely don't quite understand the fact that 90% of the people who play Smash, they play it no items on Omega levels 1v1. That's how most people play Smash. And it's insane that Nintendo doesn't get it after this long. Smash is a fantastic game, but they just don't seem to understand that we want to play our tournaments with our friends. And I can't really harp on this anymore. It's just really, really lame that's the case. I did sit down and play a little bit of the Dragon Quest Hero. And my opinion is that it seems like a fun character. The down B ability got me killed multiple times because I would go to use it and like I would be frozen in place until I could use pick an ability, and it just takes me too long to look at the list, figure out what to pick, and then hit the button, and I'm just vulnerable for too long while that happens. I will say the up B is fantastic. I love their recovery maneuver. I used that to trap a few guys a couple times. They would be coming at me, and I would use my up B, and I would jump up, and then they would land in those whirlwinds and get tossed a little bit. I thought it was really cool. I'm a fan of the character. I probably won't play it because I can't myself utilize the full kit to its fullest extent, which is exactly what I predicted would happen. That I would play, and then I would realize I'm not good enough to play as this character. I'm curious as to what you guys think about the tournament mode. Am I being too salty, or is it justified? Anyway, let's move on, and I want to talk about EA. EA is... I don't know what's wrong with EA these days. Well, I mean, these days, they've always kind of been lame, but EA has basically responded to the question, hey, how come we don't have many of your games on the Nintendo Switch? Now, I know that some people might say, well, hold on, Bill. There's FIFA. FIFA's an EA game. And the reason why we have FIFA is because, and I read this somewhere a long time ago. I don't know if it's still true, but I'm going to assume that it is. And if it turns out that I'm wrong, please let me know. When EA got the contract for FIFA, they are required by the contract to port FIFA games to pretty much every platform that is every console platform. So that's why we get FIFA. And why aren't we getting games like Madden and stuff like that? Well, the reason why we're not getting these games is because apparently, and I think that this is ridiculous, but apparently EA says that their customers just aren't that interested in the Switch versions of these games. And to that I say, that's nonsense. First off, you can't blanket say that we're not interested in, because, well, here's their reasoning, all right? Here's the reasoning. They said, let's see, at any time we're evaluating platform conversions, we're really looking at a couple of things. This is the CEO of EA. He says, one, does the game really fit the profile that platform in terms of control or other community ecosystem? Two, do we think the community playing on that platform would appreciate the game to go there, or would they prefer to play it somewhere else? So then he says a great many people who own the Switch also own other platforms. He's not wrong about that. A lot of people who own the Switch also own an Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC. So there's going to be a lot of people who are really, really mad about this. And I do think that he does have a point, even though it's a small point, that a lot of people will have these other platforms. And most of the time, what EA is saying is that the customer will choose to get it on the other platform that they have instead of on the Nintendo Switch, because that's where the graphics look better. And I will say that I have personally done this myself. I have picked up games that are on the Switch and on PS4, and I bought them on the PS4 instead because the graphics look better, or because it's a game that I'm not interested in playing portably. However, there's a lot of people out there whose only console is the Switch. And that's a lot of customers that EA is ignoring, which I think is really lame. Another thing that I don't like about what he said is this idea that the reason that we're buying these games on other platforms, he's saying people don't want to buy the game on the Switch. They want to buy the game on the other platforms. Well, let's look at the games that EA has ported to the Switch. FIFA. Okay, that's a good test case. It's probably their most popular game ever. Okay. What didn't come with that? Well, you didn't get the full game. It's not just about the graphics. That's the thing that the EA doesn't seem to understand. The reason that everybody's buying it on PS4 or Xbox One and not buying it on the Switch is because the FIFA game that they brought was incomplete. It didn't have the ultimate mode, which I don't really know what that is. I know it's a thing where you make your own team and you get players and then you can play that and whatever. It doesn't matter. That mode was not available on either of the ports of FIFA to the Nintendo Switch. And that is the reason that nobody bought it. I guess from what I understand, Ultimate Mode is the most popular part of FIFA. That's the thing everybody wants, is Ultimate Mode. So when you don't bring it to the Switch because the Frostbite engine is not compatible with the Switch, that's a problem. That's why people didn't buy the game on the Switch. It had nothing to do with the fact that the graphics, well, I would say for most people it had nothing to do with the fact that the graphics are poor, because I think that Nintendo and the Switch has shown that people are willing to tolerate subpar graphics in order to take their game and play it on wherever the hell they feel like. That's how I feel about it anyway. I think the EA's response, specifically the CEO of EA, Andrew Wilson, I think that this is a really, really lame response. He's got a small nugget of truth, and they're hiding behind that small nugget of truth. But what they don't understand is that we can see them back there. It's like, oh God, what the hell is the name of that movie? True Lies. It's like in True Lies when Tom Arnold hides behind the telephone pole and they're shooting at him, and we can see Tom Arnold behind the telephone pole, and luckily nothing hits him. Spoilers, it's in the very beginning of the movie. But that's what EA is doing. They've got this little nugget of truth that their games don't sell as well on the Switch. Well, that's because you do really bad ports. If you look at the Wii U and the Wii, the ports that the EA brought to those systems as well were really bad ports. If you look at the Wii U and the Wii altogether, most of the games that were ported to those systems did not sell as well as they did on the other systems from that console generation. And the reason was because a lot of them were low effort ports. If you look at the Switch, most of the time what we have seen so far is that when you launch a game on Switch, it sells far more copies on the Switch than it does on the other platforms. And the reason for this is because people don't care about the graphics nearly as much as the developers and publishers and platform holders believe that we do. And two, people want to be able to take it with them or play it on a bunch of different TVs. And the Switch is perfect for that. So, all things being equal, for the most part, people will buy a game on the Switch rather than buying it for some other platform, which I think is awesome. Do I always do that? No, because if it's a game that I don't care about playing portably, or a game where I think the graphics are really important, or a game where I think the frame rate is really important, then I'm going to buy it on the other platforms instead of the Switch. For example, when Doom Eternal comes out later this year, I'm not going to be buying Doom Eternal on the Switch. I'll buy it on PS4 or maybe on PC. There's a reason why I have multiple systems, because I like to play on multiple systems. I want to have the option to go to different places for different types of games. However, when the next roguelike game comes out that gets my attention, I would probably play that on the Switch rather than on my PS4 or on my PC. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this ridiculousness that is coming from EA. If you want to get a hold of the show, I'm at RunJumpStomp on Twitter, or you can email me, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. Let's take a quick break. We'll hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, we've got some good news about Nintendo Switch Online. Stick around.
Nintendo, please hold.
One moment.
Thank you, may I help you?
And in Seattle, at the company's U.S. headquarters, they listen to the customers.
All right. Gosh, do they listen to the customers? I don't think they do. Because if they did, we'd still, I hate to bring this up again, but I'd be able to do a tournament mode with the friends. All right. Come on, Nintendo. Anyway, I complained about Nintendo a bunch. Let's not complain about Nintendo forever. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. A tweet from Nintendo. It says, for a limited time, Nintendo Switch Online members can experience the full Mario Tennis Aces game on Nintendo Switch for free from August 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific time to August 13th at midnight Pacific time, which is fantastic. Listen, Mario Tennis Aces is a really good game. Didn't have the best launch. I've heard, I have not played it in a while, but I've heard that they've vastly improved that game over time. But their Nintendo seems to be understanding, and I talked about this while I was on vacation, because in Japan they're bringing Captain Toad to the Switch for people. If you're in Europe or America, you're going to be getting access to Mario Tennis Aces. So here's what I recommend everybody do. Go out, make a Japanese eShop account, make a European eShop account, make a US eShop account so that you have all three. Okay? And it seems like possibly each month we may get access to some first-party Nintendo game for a limited time. Now, what I would very much prefer is if they gave us access for as long as we were subscribed for, kind of like what happens on PlayStation and on Xbox Live. You know, if you subscribe to those every month, they give you a couple of games for free. I hate saying for free, but it's, for your subscription, or it comes with your subscription. Nintendo is charging us 1/3 the cost, so instead of letting us play these games indefinitely, they're giving us a taste, which I think is fine. I would honestly prefer another tier where I pay $60 a year instead of $20 a year, and for that third tier, I get to keep the games that come out each month. I think that would be better, and a lot of people would be more inclined to check out Nintendo Switch Online. I said this while I was on vacation when I was talking about the Japanese Captain Toad thing. I think it's fantastic that they're doing this. This is going to get a lot of people to check out. First off, if they've already subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online, it's going to get a lot of people to check out games that they otherwise would have skipped, and that might sell more games. Okay. especially a game like Mario Tennis Aces, where it's not really a story game. It's not a game you can really, I mean, I guess you could finish it by going through the story mode, but really the core of the gameplay for Mario Tennis Aces is playing online. So putting Mario Tennis Aces online free for a week, that means there's going to be a lot of people who try it out, and maybe they will realize, oh, this is a pretty damn good game. I'm going to buy it. So for people who skipped out on Mario Tennis Aces, this may convince them to check it out. The other effect that this might have, and again, I talked about this when I talked about Captain Toad coming to the Japanese eShop for free for a week if you're a subscriber to Nintendo Switch Online, is that there's going to be people who have not subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online. They're going to see that, oh, I can subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online and try this game out. That's awesome. Let me do that instead of buying the game. And maybe, now you've got somebody who's hooked. It's like drugs. You're giving away the first hit for free. Overall, I think that this is a smart move from Nintendo. Still think that they need to fix some other things with Nintendo Switch Online via like voice chat and being able to invite friends to games and things like that. But overall, I think that this is a step in the right direction. So kudos to Nintendo for doing things the right way. Speaking of other territories or other regions, the upgraded Nintendo Switch, I don't like the term that this used. This comes from Press Start Australia. They say that the upgraded Nintendo Switch has started arriving in Australian stores. I don't like calling it the upgraded. Because that implies that it's more powerful, and a lot of people are going to get the wrong idea when they look at this. So instead, I prefer that they would use the term, instead of upgraded. I don't know what I would prefer that they use. I just don't like the term upgraded. But in Australia, the Switch that has the longer battery life is starting to show up in Australian stores, and if you're looking to buy a new Switch, I would wait, and I would keep an eye out for that red box to come to whatever region you live in, so that you can pick up the updated. Thank you, Lawworthy in chat says I should call it the updated Nintendo Switch instead of upgraded. I like that. If you want to get a Switch, hold off for the updated Nintendo Switch because it does have a longer battery life. And that's just because they are using this. I think what a lot of people have agreed on is that Nintendo is using the same chip that is the new chip that is in the Nintendo Switch Lite in the OG Switch. And the reason for that is because it is less power hungry. And because of that, the battery that they already have in the Switch, which has not changed, lasts longer. So hang on for the updated Nintendo Switch, because that's the one that I think that a lot of people are going to want to have with that much longer battery life. If you're anything like me, when you were young, you played a game called Burgertime. And I played a lot of Burgertime when I was a kid. And I got to say, I'm excited because Burgertime is getting a multiplayer remake. And if you don't know what Burgertime is, this is a game where you are this guy who walks over top of giant hamburger patties and buns and lettuce and tomatoes. And as you walk over them, they fall to the levels below. And your goal is to build your burger on the bottom of the of the level. And I dumped a lot of quarters into Burgertime in the arcade. I had a lot of fun with it. As you are doing this, you have Mr. Hot Dog, Mr. Pickle, Mr. Egg, and Mr. Donut chasing you around the arena while you try and build the burger. And if they get too close, you have a pepper pot, and you can shake the pepper at them in order to make them sneeze, and then they can't harm you, and then you can walk through them. It sounds like a ridiculous game. The arcade game is crazy, but it's awesome. And I loved it. And Burgertime Party is coming to the Nintendo Switch. I actually didn't see when it's coming to the autumn 2019. I'm very excited for it. This is going to be something that I'll probably buy day one. I do hope that it has online multiplayer. I didn't see in the video if it said that it had online multiplayer, but it does have 4-player local multiplayer, definitely. And it just looks like a lot of fun. This is the perfect kind of game for the Nintendo Switch, being able to play as Peter Pepper and shake your pepper at the eggs, whatever you want to call that. It's going to be a fun game, and I'm looking forward to it. And now on my arcade cabinet over here on the side of the screen, I might have to load up some OG Burgertime and check it out. All right, we've got 5 minutes left. Feedback is going to have to get pushed until next episode. Let's talk about 2 quick stories. July 31st was the anniversary of the Game Boy. Oh my gosh, the anniversary of the original Game Boy back in 1989, the 30th anniversary. Here's my question to you guys, and I'm going to post this as a tweet so that people can respond to it. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, fill it in the comments down below. What is your favorite Game Boy game? For those of you who had a Game Boy back in the day, what is your favorite Game Boy game of all time? It is the 30th anniversary of the Game Boy. And I just think that that's really cool. Man, it makes me feel old. Moving on. Cadence of Hyrule got an update, and I don't often talk about every single update to a game, but there's some pretty important additions to this, and I'm just bringing this up now. Here we go. This comes to us from Reddit user Will Arseny, and they said in patch 1.0.2 they have added achievements. They added leaderboards for co-op. If you use co-op at any point during a run, that run will become a co-op for the leaderboards, even if you don't continue playing co-op afterwards. They also added, and this is probably the coolest option, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm going to sometime soon. They added beat rumble option that vibrates the controller to the beat. So as you're playing, the Joy-Cons will give you a quick shake to the beat of the music, which may actually help some people who, have trouble keeping the beat. Anyway, I think it's very cool. I'm excited. There's a bunch more changes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but those are the big ones that I think are really awesome. And I like when a developer continues to support their game after it comes out and continues to add new features and things like that. We've got a bunch of email to get to, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to add that to tomorrow's episode. But let's wrap this show up. If you want to become a part of the community, you absolutely should over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. If you want to watch the show live, when it's live, you can head down over to twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. You can get a hold of me through email, runjumpstomp@gmail.com, or you can shout at me on Twitter at runjumpstomp. Use the hashtag Nintendo SwitchCraft. If you are looking for ways to support the show, stop by runjumpstomp.com/thank you. And for more content like this, head on over to runjumpstomp.com/shows. The music that you're about to hear is Corneria Star Fox Remix by Note. Thank you, everyone, for listening and hanging out with me. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.